You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
This is the Daniel Monday Night Community Show on demand through YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to us through this method. If you'd like to keep up to date with when I add new interviews, then subscribe to this channel. So we're going to be joined on the telephone and we're going to be talking all about people sleep in our area. Firstly, thank you very much for joining us. Would you just be able to introduce yourself to our listeners and tell them a little bit about yourself before we move into the interview?
Hi Daniel, my name's Kevin Morgan. I'm Professor of Psychology at the University of Loughborough and I am the Director of the Clinical Sleep Research Unit in that university. Our job is to research sleep. We research treatments for sleep disorders. We have a particular interest in insomnia disorders and in life events that impact upon sleep quality.
So what has this research shown about people's sleep in our area?
What we're aiming to do is to take a snapshot of sleep quality and the sleep circumstances of people throughout the UK. Then, on the basis of that, we can make comparisons about the different countries in the UK and the different regions within countries of the UK. Now, at the moment, we're about halfway through, and the results are looking interesting, and they're giving us some indication of the norms that are going to operate. Looking, for example, at the Isle of Sheppey, what we find is that there's about an average amount of concern about the economic outlook. About 1 in 6 people report that when they can't get to sleep at night, they have an anxiety about the economic future of their region. About 1 in 8 people are telling us that they have concerns about their job security and that these concerns are being active when they can't get to sleep at night. Now, we're only halfway through. It could be that this snapshot is a bit premature and that if we were to have more people contribute, we'd have a better idea and a better understanding of what the true picture is. So I would encourage people listening to get online, go to sleep-census.com and give us their views of their sleep quality in your area.
Now, we've often all had a bad night's sleep, but what effect does that actually have on us?
Well, I think most people will immediately grasp that if they don't get enough sleep, then they feel sleepy during the day. But they also know that 1 or 2 nights of poor sleep don't really add up to a major problem. Most people can cope with 1, 2, sometimes even 3 nights of poor sleep and then compensate later on. The real problem arises when sleep problems become repetitive, when they become cumulative, when we lose trust in our ability to fall asleep and stay asleep. And when that happens, then the consequences can be quite severe. Chronic poor quality sleep leads to mood disorders. We can't regulate, we can't trust our moods, we become intemperate, we tend to become snappy and agitated. It's a risk for becoming depressed. We don't perform well at work. We don't perform well socially because we stop being able to trust our responses to other people. So all, in order to maintain a quality of life that delivers for us, we need good quality sleep. And not getting good quality sleep is serious.
So do you have any tips for us for a better night's sleep?
Well, I suppose these can fall into 2 categories. If you just want to look after your sleep, if you want to preserve your sleep quality, then the best advice is to maintain regular habits. Regularity is the guardian of good sleep. If, on the other hand, you've developed a chronic problem, you're one of those people who have lost confidence in their ability regularly, confidently to go to sleep every night, I would strongly suggest that you either sought professional help, pop along, talk about it with a practitioner, or you get a better understanding of those things that can disturb sleep, that you try harder to maintain regular patterns. And here's a really good tip. If you have problems getting to sleep, try and spend as little time in your bed awake as possible. If you can't sleep, no good just lying there being cross with yourself that you can't sleep. Sometimes it really is good advice to get up and go and do something quiet.
Well, I often find that works for me, so that's certainly good to hear. Now, you briefly talked about the census, but I was hoping you could tell our listeners a little bit more about that.
The Sleep Census is an international survey of sleep quality that's being run from the UK, but is looking at sleep quality in Australia, Africa, China, Korea, and Europe. Now, what's important about it is that it offers us an opportunity to look at how people are managing their sleep, how important sleep is to people, and exactly how people are sleeping, how long they're sleeping for, how many times they wake up during the night, what they think helps them get to sleep in all of these different places at the same time. Now, this will enable us, for example, to compare the sleep of somebody in China or the sleep of a town in China with the whole of the Isle of Sheppey, just for example. Now, this will deliver to us an ability to see what it is that people are doing in different parts of the world that seems to help them get to sleep.
So how do we complete that census?
And people can help us by going online.
Well, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us and telling us all about that.